Have you ever found yourself sitting across from someone you really like? Or waiting for a text that feels like the center of your world? And yet you go out of your way to act completely unbothered. Almost as if your heart wasn't beating a little faster in that very moment. Welcome and thank you for being here with me today. Because if you have ever felt that specific quiet pressure to look chill or detached when you were actually filled with care, I want you to know right away that you are not alone. It's a feeling that many people describe as a sort of internal performance. A way of moving through the world where we try to look as though we need nothing and expect even less. And it's something so many of us recognize in our own quietest hours. We often think of this cool persona as a sign of confidence or inner peace. But some find that it's actually something much more protective. A way of staying grounded in an emotional landscape that can feel quite risky to navigate openly. There is an early curiosity in this behavior, suggesting that pretending not to care isn't usually about arrogance, but about a deeply human desire to stay safe, to stay likable, and to keep our softer edges tucked away where they can't be easily bruised. It can feel like a survival strategy, a learned way of existing in a world that often rewards detachment, while framing open vulnerability as something that makes us look needy, or perhaps just a little too intense for the room. This where the habit forms in the small, almost imperceptible moments, where we decide to wait an extra hour to reply to a message, or when we swallow a compliment because we don't want to seem too eager to please. Many people notice that the cool girl or cool guy trap isn't something we choose because we want to be dishonest, but because it feels like a way to maintain our dignity in spaces where the outcome is still uncertain. It's commonly felt that if we don't act like something matters, then it won't hurt as much if it doesn't work out, creating a sort of emotional buffer that lets us walk away with our pride still intact, even if our heart is heavy. Some find themselves downplaying their excitement for a new job, a creative project, or a blossoming connection, using words like "we'll see" or "it's no big deal" to mask the fact that they've been thinking about it all day. There is a strange social reward for this kind of detachment, a way that the world seems to lean toward the person who appears to need nothing, as if our lack of visible care is a magnet for interest and respect. But here's what pretending not to care quietly costs us. It often creates a distance that is hard to bridge later, a layer of frost over our interactions that keeps people at arm's length. Even when we are desperate for them to come closer, we might find that by being so low maintenance, we've accidentally taught the people around us that our needs don't exist, leaving us in a position where we are perfectly chill, but also perfectly overlooked and misunderstood. It can feel like we are playing a character in our own lives, a version of ourselves that is streamlined and efficient, but one that lacks the messy, beautiful textures that actually make us who we are in the dark. Many people notice that they've become experts at the shrug, that physical and emotional gesture of indifference that says "I'm fine either way," even when one way would make them whole and the other would leave them hollow. Some find that they hide their disappointment with a joke or a quick change of subject, terrified that if they let the silence hang, someone might see the cracks in their unbothered exterior and realize just how much they were actually hoping for. It's often felt that being the cool person means being the one who never makes a scene, the one who is always down for whatever, and the one who never asks the uncomfortable questions about where things are going or what we mean to each other. But beneath that calm surface, many carry a quiet, humming anxiety, a worry that if they ever let the mask slip, if they ever admitted to being scared or lonely or deeply invested, they would somehow lose their seat at the table. This is the part many people don't talk about, the exhaustion of constant emotional self-control, the weight of always being the one who is fine, and the way it can make you feel like a ghost in your own most important relationships. People often learn early on that showing too much care can lead to a specific kind of shame, a feeling of being too much for others to handle. And so they begin to trim back their feelings until they fit into a more manageable, socially acceptable box. It can feel like you are protecting your pride at the expense of your presence, as if you are so busy making sure you don't look foolish, that you forget to actually experience the joy or the pain of the moment you're in. Here is where the distance quietly deepens, as we mistake our emotional coolness for a form of strength, believing that the person who can walk away without a backward glance is the one who is the most resilient and the most in control. But many notice that this kind of strength is actually quite fragile, because it relies on never being truly reached, never being truly known, and never allowing anyone to get close enough to see the parts of us that aren't optimized or cool. Some find that they delay their replies or keep their schedules artificially busy, not to be manipulative, but because they are terrified that if they are too available, they will seem like they have nothing else going on, or like they are waiting around for someone else to choose them. It's commonly felt that being the one who cares less is the only way to stay safe in a relationship, leading to a strange, silent competition where both people are trying to look as unbothered as possible, while both are quietly longing for a sign that it's okay to be real. This performance of indifference can lead to a profound kind of loneliness, the kind that exists even when you are sitting right next to someone, because you are both relating to each other's masks rather than to each other's hearts. Many people notice that when they pretend not to care, they are actually mourning a version of themselves that was allowed to be earnest. The version of them that could get excited about a song or cry at a movie, or tell someone they missed them without overthinking it. It can feel like you've traded your color for a kind of safety. And while the world might be less dangerous when you're cool, it can also start to feel a lot more gray, a lot more predictable, and a lot less like a life that belongs to you. Here's what pretending not to care quietly teaches us. It teaches us that our genuine reactions are things to be managed and edited, rather than signals to be listened to and shared with the people who matter most. We might find ourselves hiding our hobbies, our niche interests, or our deepest beliefs because they feel too uncool or too revealing. As if being a person with specific, passionate tastes is a liability in a world of vague, ironic detachment. Some find that they have become so good at acting unbothered that they've started to numb their own internal sensors, losing the ability to tell even themselves what they actually want, because they've practiced saying it doesn't matter for so many years. It's often felt that chill has become the highest social currency, a way to signal that you are easy to be around. But chill can so easily become a prison where we aren't allowed to have boundaries or preferences or a voice of our own. People often describe the relief they feel when they finally encounter someone who isn't cool, someone who is obvious about their feelings, someone who is eager and earnest, because it gives them a tiny, flickering permission to be that way too. But the pressure to return to the cool trap is always there, whispered through social media trends and the way we talk about cringe, making us feel like being sincere is the most embarrassing thing a person could possibly be. This isn't about being dishonest or cold, but rather a response to the way we've framed vulnerability as a weakness. As if the person who shows their heart first is the one who has already lost some invisible game we're all playing. Many people find that they use coolness as a way to avoid the messy work of being a beginner, pretending they don't care about a new skill or a new community, just in case they aren't immediately good at it, or just in case they aren't immediately welcomed. It can feel like a way of refusing to be a guest in the world, always acting like you're already at home, always acting like you've seen it all before, so that no one can ever see you in that vulnerable state of learning or needing or wondering. Here is where the habit starts to feel like a burden, when you realize that the person you've spent so much time perfecting is someone you don't even particularly like, because they are so far removed from the parts of you that are actually capable of feeling alive. Some notice that their most cherished memories are actually the ones where they failed to be cool. The times they laughed too loud or stayed too late or told someone exactly how they felt, even though their voice was shaking and their hands were cold. In those moments, the cool trap failed, and in that failure, life actually rushed back in, reminding us that the risk of being seen is the only way to ever truly feel connected to the people and the world around us. It's commonly felt that we are a generation of people waiting for someone else to be real first. All of us standing in a room full of mirrors, looking for a window, but too afraid to be the one who breaks the glass and admits that we're a little bit tired of the reflection. Pretending not to care isn't a character flaw or a sign that you are manipulative. It is often just a very quiet, very persistent way of holding your own hand through the dark, trying to make sure you don't get lost in the shuffle of other people's lives. It's a learned survival strategy, a way to stay in control in uncertain emotional spaces where we don't know if we are safe, or if we are wanted, or if the things we carry are valuable to anyone but ourselves. Many people find that they began this behavior so young that they don't even remember when the mask became a permanent fixture. It just feels like the only way to be likable or safe in a world that can be quite harsh to those who are openly soft. It can feel like you are protecting a very small, very bright light inside of you. And you've built so many layers of chill around it to make sure the wind doesn't blow it out. But now the layers are so thick that even you can't see the light anymore. Some find that their relationships feel like collaborative performances, where both people are doing a great job of being cool and low maintenance. But neither person feels like they can actually exhale and be the messy, complicated human beings they are. This leads to a specific kind of distance, a misunderstanding where we think the other person doesn't care as much as we do. So we dial our own care back even further, until the whole connection becomes a thin, brittle thing that can't support the weight of real life. Here's what pretending not to care quietly costs us over time. It costs us the depth of our experiences, turning our years into a series of fine moments that we can't quite remember because we weren't fully present in them. It's increasingly observed that the people who seem the most cool are often the ones who are the most disconnected from their own intuition, because they've spent so much time overriding their gut feelings to maintain an unbothered exterior. They might notice that they feel a sense of flatness in their joy, as if they've turned down the volume on their sadness so effectively that they've accidentally turned down the volume on their happiness too, leaving everything at a muffled, safe level. But the desire to care, to be earnest, and to be deeply invested in life is still there, hidden beneath the chill and the unbothered and the ironic, waiting for a moment when the pressure to perform finally becomes too heavy to carry. People often describe a turning point where they realize that the rewards of being cool are no longer enough to make up for the loneliness of being unseen, and they start to look for ways to invite their own genuine feelings back into the room. It doesn't have to be a dramatic shift. It can be as small as letting yourself look interested in a conversation, or admitting that you're disappointed when plans change, or allowing yourself to be the first one to say, "I had a great time." These small acts of uncoolness are actually acts of immense quiet courage, because they involve stepping out from behind the shield and trusting that you are substantial enough to survive whatever happens next. Many people find that when they stop pretending not to care, they don't actually become needy or too much. They just become more real, and that reality acts like a filter that brings the right people closer while letting the wrong ones drift away. It can feel like you are finally reclaiming your own story, no longer letting the fear of looking cringe or desperate dictate the way you love, the way you work, or the way you relate to the person in the mirror. Some notice that the cool trap was actually a way of avoiding the responsibility of their own emotions, as if by not caring they weren't responsible for the outcome, but we are always responsible for our own experience of being alive. Here is what caring openly quietly offers us: a sense of integrity, a feeling that our inside and our outside finally match, and that we are no longer spending half of our energy on the maintenance of a lie. It is a slow, steady realization that being chill is a wonderful tool for a busy afternoon, but it is a very poor foundation for a meaningful life, and that the things we care about are the only things that will ever truly stay with us. Many find that their most authentic connections are built on the things they were initially afraid were uncool. Their weird hobbies, their intense loyalties, their specific fears, and their unapologetic, wide-eyed excitement for the small things. It's often felt that we are all just looking for a soft place to land, a space where we don't have to be on or together or unbothered. And the only way to find that space is to be the one who is willing to create it for ourselves and for others. The cool girl and the cool guy were only ever ideas, ghosts of a social expectation that doesn't actually exist in the ways we think it does. And letting go of those ghosts is one of the most liberating things a person can do. Pretending not to care is not a defect, it is a testament to how much you actually do care. It is the evidence of a heart that is so sensitive and so deep that it felt the need to build a fortress to survive. And as you move through your days, perhaps you can start to notice when the fortress is doing its job and when it is just getting in the way. Giving yourself the grace to open the gates whenever you feel a flicker of safety or a spark of genuine interest. You are allowed to be a person who is a bit much. You are allowed to be the one who cares the most. And you are allowed to be the one who is obvious about their desire for connection and meaning in a world that can often feel so fragmented. Caring is not a weakness, it is the most honest thing you have. It is the evidence that you are here, that you are present. and that you are brave enough to inhabit the full spectrum of your own humanity. We often think that the goal is to be untouched by the world, but maybe the goal is to be moved by it. To let it leave its marks on us, and to be honest about the way those marks feel, whether they are marks of joy or marks of grief. Some notice that when they stop trying to look cool, they start to look like themselves again. And that version of them is always more beautiful, more interesting, and more durable than the polished archetype they were trying to be. Here's what we find on the other side of the trap. We find a life that is textured, a life that is resonant, and a life where our relationships are based on the truth of who we are, rather than the perfection of who we are pretending to be. You don't have to fix your need for safety, and you don't have to fix the way you learn to protect yourself. You only have to acknowledge that your care is a gift, not a liability, and that it is worth the risk of being seen. In the end, the desire to look cool comes from a very beautiful place, a desire for connection without the risk of being hurt. But true connection always requires a little bit of risk, and that risk is the very thing that makes the connection feel real. So as you go about your day, I hope you can be gentle with that unbothered version of yourself, knowing they were just trying to keep you safe. But also knowing that you are strong enough now to let the world see how much you actually care. You are not broken for feeling this way, you are simply paying attention to the passage of time and the depth of your own heart. And that awareness is a powerful thing to carry into the world. May you find the courage to be a little less cool and a little more you. Trusting that the version of you who cares is the only one who can truly find the connection and the peace you've been looking for all along. You are seen not because of your mask, but because of the soft, earnest heart that beats behind it. And that heart is and always has been more than enough. The cool girl and the cool guy can finally rest because you are here now. And you are allowed to be exactly as you are, wide-eyed, invested, and beautifully, unapologetically human. If this reflection resonated with you, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for being here.